Hello there. Uh, Thank you so much for joining me back. I really appreciate you. After we did the introduction part of the truth of life, now we are in the second episode of the first season. And if you allow me, we will race along together as we do this because I believe it is about us and for us. And this is for us who are living today. And we also have a hope of tomorrow. Now, I want to talk about the four questions of life. The questions of uh, origin, meaning, morality, and destiny. Origin, where did you come from? Meaning, what is the meaning of living? Morality, what do you use to distinguish between good and evil? And destiny, what happens to human beings when they die? So, origin, meaning, morality, and destiny. I'm not very deep into this, neither do I know so much about this, but I would rather say that we have, and all of us have mind, and we use this mind to think and to figure out even difficult issues. And we also believe that since we are given that free will, and therefore we can think in any way we want, but when we are given that other caution that we should think corresponding to truth and coherent to the worldview, and therefore that leads us to think and thinking in the right way. When we talk of origin, it directly points us to a maker. It directly points us to a creator, and therefore that we know every other theory that discusses about the origin of human, rather the evolution of human, when you go deep down to it, it really points us back to a maker. And therefore we begin by saying that our origin is from a maker who was not made. So our origin is from a creator who was not created. Now we go to the meaning of life. That is, I think, is the uh, difficult part, because everybody today have a pursuit of meaning. Every young person today have a greatest pursuit, and that is the pursuit of meaning. And therefore meaning of life might be somehow difficult, might be somehow broad. We will try to see through it, uh, but let us first talk of the third one, which is molarity. Now this is the very issue that we all may not agree, and rather we may all live in a diverse way and live in a way that we know, or rather we say, I live my truth and you live your truth. But if you say that, I will also ask, therefore whose truth is true? Now, if we talk of live my truth and you live your truth, whose truth is true? And therefore, the molarity, or rather the distinction between good and evil, it's brought by our Maker, and it points us back to the creation, whereby God Himself offered only one law, and He said, "You know what? Do not eat from this fruit of knowledge of good and evil, because when you eat from this tree, you'll surely die." Now, think about that. All the other things Adam and Eve were told, you can do them, you can do this, but they were told only one law. And surprisingly, I find this so fascinating, that when they broke that law, there were other many laws that were made, or rather they were needed to make humans moving. Imagine that. That when you see about the journey of Moses, with the Israelites, he needed 613 laws so that he can continue moving with them. If you think of the court of law today, the Constitution, there are over 1,000 laws that are made. Think about today how even information is taken. Like, you can redefine a statement, and therefore they kinda understand all that. And therefore, like, I had a very incredible example whereby someone said that when you get to a plane, actually have not got into one, maybe someday I will get in, but there is that smoke sensor, and that he said that is often told, do not touch, destroy, distort, or tamper with a smoke sensor. Imagine that. Do not touch, tamper, destroy, or distort the smoke sensor. And he claimed that why wouldn't they say, actually, there is a smoke sensor there, don't mess with it. But because in our day to day and in our court of law, anything and everything can be redefined, that's why they need a lot of time and a lot of aspects to explain one and familiar thing. I would say this to you: the reason why we have all those, the reason why we actually have all those is because we have redefined truth, and we are defining it in our own terms, in our own likeness. Now, I know it may sound prosaic, but I know that it is true for those who are really knowing what I'm trying to say here. That you claim to have your truth, I claim to have my own truth, and therefore we have buried the real truth to the to the grave. But I thank God that even if we have buried it, it will still come out someday. So I will not also dwell on that so much, because I believe that we have a lot to say about that. That maybe it may take a whole episode by itself. So we have talked of origin, we have talked of meaning, we have talked of molarity. Let us talk of destiny for a moment. And this is what I want to say, because I believe that this is a long journey we have to go. But someday human beings will be normal, and that means individual, one by one. Uh, and the evidence that we have from it is because we have buried our fellows, we have buried our friends, we have buried our relatives, and all that. Actually, yesterday I received a phone call and told, hey, you know what? Your grandma is no more. So we lose our loved ones and those people who we know every day, now and then. But I want to say this, and when we talk of destiny, do we really have hope after death? Do we really have hope after death? And I want to say this because today I don't want this episode to be too long, but I want to close with this because I mean those four questions of life. I believe we will be explaining each in each episode. Maybe God willing, we will try to for that to happen. But I want to say this concerning the destiny. uh, we have a very mistaken idea that we should only work as far as godliness is concerned, so that when we die, we go to heaven. I think it's a mistaken idea. I think we should really check on that, because eternity, or rather, to have eternal life, is not after death. Eternal life is even right now when you're living. Eternal life is when you decide in the eternity that you will be part and parcel of the eternity. Now, it is not that when you die you go to eternity. Uh, I don't know so much about that too, so I will not dwell on that so much. But I want to say this to the young people, like myself and others. When we are thinking of origin, when we are thinking of meaning, when we are thinking of morality and destiny, let us be sure that whatever we are doing in our day to day life is not distracting our final goals in life. And it does not go against our Creator's will. And number three, it doesn't, go contrary to what we were brought up. And I would say this specifically, by two corresponding things which cannot leave each other, by religion and by parents. Let me not say culture so much, but rather parents. The reason I say they should not leave each other, because maybe there's someone who is not brought well by the family, but yet the religion doesn't condone any other thing. So I want to say this: the greatest pursuit of every young person today is the pursuit of meaning, but we have really mistaken the idea of good and evil. So I believe that in the that episode we are gonna expound on that. I want to thank you so much for being here with me. It's quite chilly out here. I'm actually in an open place, but it sounds nice. So I want to thank you once again, and I want to say this: make sure you share these to your friends, or rather those who you feel that they would be helped by these informations, so that we go learning step by step. Because not unless we agree that when a kid is born must first of all crawl before he stands and must walk before he runs, we will not go ahead and will not make any progress. So thank you so much and have a good time. Thank you so much. Thank you.